You're watching Game Show Network. Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Ella King Tari.
Number 2.
My name is Ella King Tori.
And number 3.
My name is Ella King Tari.
Only one of these people is the real Ella King Tori and has sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Emmy Award-winning host John Wayne. From ABC's All My Children, Susan Lucci. An all-time favorite on To Tell the Truth, Bill Cullen. And our anchor lady, another Emmy winner, Polly Bergen. And that's our panel. And here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Robin Ward.
Thank you and welcome. I'm glad you could join us. And panel, I'm very glad you could join us too. Are you ready to play?
We are.
Do you know the rules?
We are.
Are you familiar, Polly, with it?
Yes.
Okay, let's get right down into the first problem, presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Ella King Tori. And would you rip open, wait till I...
Wait a minute.
Would you rip open your envelopes and follow along as I read? You're anxious today, panel. Okay. I, Ella King Tori, am writing a college thesis on an important cultural phenomenon, the Barbie doll. Shapely Barbie is both a fantasy and a reflection of American values and their development. Since 1959, 120 million Barbie dolls have been sold. Barbie's official fan club was once second in membership only to the Girl Scouts, and she's even been buried in time capsules. An icon of the me generation, Barbie has engaged in nearly every sport, home activity, and career imaginable. And for each one, she has an array of equipment and accessories, and of course, a fashionable outfit. By the way, the dresses we are wearing are life-size versions of clothes from the very first Barbie collection. Signed, Ella King Tori. That's it. Okay, panel, these three ladies, lovely ladies, all claim to be Ella King Tori, who is getting her degree in Barbie dolls. Let's start the questioning with Susan Lucci.
Okay, number 3, what is the boyfriend doll of Barbie?
Ken.
The audience knows that too. Number 2, how much does a Barbie doll cost now?
$3 to $12, depending on the model.
Do you mean some are smaller, some are larger?
No, they're all different kinds of Barbies.
I see. Number 1, what did a Barbie doll cost in 1959?
1959, I think it was $350.
Number 3, how many Barbie dolls do you have?
I only have a few.
Let's see. Number 2, how did you get the idea to write your thesis on the Barbie doll?
Well, I always wanted to be Barbie when I was a little girl, and I figured this was the closest I would get.
I see. And where are you getting...
And we go to Bill Cullen.
When I was a kid shopping for dolls, they were $2. For $12, you get the sales girl. But that's... Number 2, Barbie dolls have been, they cry, they wet, and do they do anything else, number 2?
There was a Barbie doll that had hair that would grow if you pulled certain buttons.
Number 1, is that true? Did your Barbie doll have hair that would grow?
Yes, you could pull her hair out and it would grow. You could also dye the color.
I could dye it a color. Number 3, what button do your Barbie doll do I pull if I want her hair to grow?
It's got a little button in the front or back. I can't remember which one, but it's in the center.
I hope it's in the front, number 3. I have a little button in the back, but that's another story. Number 3, when you first started to do this thesis, where did you go for your research? To the kids or to the people who made the dolls?
To the people who made the dolls.
And number 1, did you talk to any of the kids who have owned Barbie dolls?
Well, I owned them myself when I was a little girl.
And we go to Polly Bergen.
Number 2, who manufactures the Barbie doll?
Mattel.
I see. And what is the number 1 game sold in America?
I don't know.
The number 1 game sold in America?
Oh, I don't know.
All right. Number 3, number 1, does a Barbie doll wet?
Not all Barbie dolls. There's one model that does.
Number 2, is there a Barbie doll that wets?
One model does, yes.
Did I hear a buzzer?
I certainly
With that-
hope so.
with
I
that-
cannot go on from here.
With that poignant observation from Polly, we go down to John Wade.
Okay, number 3, who invented the Barbie doll?
A woman named Ruth Handler.
Okay, and number 2, after whom is the Barbie doll named?
Their daughter.
Okay,
The
number
handlers.
1, after whom is Ken named?
Ken was just a name thought up
Oh, is
by
there
the
any-
handlers.
All right, number 2, can you tell me anything else about Ruth Handler?
She's no longer with Mattel.
Okay, number 3, why is that? What was the controversy around her?
I don't really remember all of the controversy. I know she's got her own company now.
All right, do you know after whom Ken was named?
The handler's son, I think.
Okay, number 1, was there any controversy when the Barbie doll herself came out? Not when she wet, but just when she appeared.
Yes, a lot of people thought she was a very sexy-looking doll, and they objected to that for their children.
Okay, was there any...
The bell says time is up, panel. Once again, it's time to vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Whoever, in your opinion, is the real Ella King Torrey. We will pay $100 for each incorrect vote. And if our team of challengers completely Schneiders you, they will win $500. Are the ballots all marked, panel? Susan, who'd you vote for?
I voted for number 3. I like the idea that she said she just had a few Barbie dolls herself. Apparently her interests are for some other reason than having them.
Instinct. Bill?
The most startling revelation so far is that John knows so much about Barbie dolls. Pittsburgh isn't the way it was when I was there. I voted for number 2.
And Polly, you're in
Well,
turmoil
I didn't
here.
vote for number 3 because the Barbie doll that I own, you just pull the hair, you don't push a button. So I thought that the button answer was wrong, but of course I also thought the period was on your left finger, so what do I know? I think it's number 2 because she knew about the lady, she knew she had left Mattel, she knew there was a problem, but I also have a real strong feeling about 1. So it'll probably be 1 because I haven't been right.
Ever. Okay, we go to our Barbie expert, John Wade. Who did you vote for?
Well, actually, okay, going back to Bill, he said for $12? Boy, Pittsburgh has changed. For $12, you can't even get the doll anymore, let alone the sales girl. Anyway, I did vote for number 3, but just my personal preference is if number 1 is not married. I mean, I'd like to do research, you know.
Later, Bill. Now we're going to find out who the real Barbie doll scholar is. Will the real Ella King Torrey please stand up? All right, panel, let's find out who our imposters are. Number 1, could you tell us, please, who you are and what you do?
My name is Kathy Cox, and I sell a board game called Hacky Sack.
And number 2, would you tell us, please, who you are and what you do?
My name is Linda Jones, and I work in the engineering department at BBC.
Really? Bill, you have a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what university, number 3, are you getting your degree?
Yale University.
And it's a degree of arts, is it?
Something called a Scholar of the House.
Scholar of the house. Okay.
Ella King, you all look marvelous. Who designed the dresses you're wearing?
New York dress designer named Timothy Dunleavy.
Wow, they're very attractive, and you all look like dolls to me. You won
Yeah.
yourself $200. Thanks for joining us on To Tell the Truth, and we'll see 2 of you on one-on-one in just a moment. And we'll be back with more as soon as we can. Thank you. We are back, panel. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1,
My name is William F. Niehaus.
number 2,
My name is William F. Niehaus.
and number 3.
My name is William F. Niehaus.
All right, panel, once again, would you tear open your little envelopes and follow along as I read? I, William F. Niehaus, was kidnapped by terrorists from my Caracas home in February 1976 and held hostage for 3 years and 4 months in the Venezuelan jungle. No reason for my abduction was ever given. Though never mistreated, I was never sure I'd be released alive. I slept each night chained to a post and was moved to a new location every few months. In 1979, I was rescued purely by accident. Many businessmen living abroad risk kidnapping. American firms can help them face that risk and weather the ordeal. I got through mine by never losing faith and living one day at a time. Signed, William F. Niehaus. All right, panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be William F. Niehaus, who was held hostage for over 3 years in Venezuela. Let's start the questioning with Polly Bergen.
What company do you work for, Mr. Niehaus, number 2?
Owens, Illinois.
I beg your pardon?
Owens, Illinois.
Owens, Illinois. What kind of business is that?
This is a multinational company involved in packaging, glass, plastics.
I understand. Number 3, were you allowed to, are you back with the company now, or did they fire you when they figured you weren't going to show up?
No, I'm back with the company now.
I see. Number 1, have you continued to work for the company, or have you changed your job?
Yes, I'm in research and development at the company.
You didn't want to, like, just get out, huh?
No.
Did they offer to pay a ransom, or was a ransom asked, number 2?
There was a ransom demanded, but there was no payment.
No payment. And you're still with the company?
Yes.
Number 2? I see. Number 3, are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any children, number 3?
Yes, I do.
Number 2, how many children do you have?
I have 3 sons.
I see. Number 1.
Thank you, Polly, and we go to John Wade.
Okay, number 2, over those 3 years and 4 months, how did you keep your sanity? What did you do to try to keep peace with yourself and not go off the deep end?
Well, I had 3 years to think about a lot of things.
What did you think about?
My past, the experiences that I've had, my memories. They did provide me with some literature, newspapers. I was able to listen to a radio occasionally.
All right, number 3, why were you in Caracas?
My company has an office in Chicago, and I was in charge of in Caracas, and I was in charge of the operation.
Okay, still with number 3, did you find out ultimately who your captors were?
No, not really. They were a group of terrorists, communist terrorists.
Okay, number 1, you said accidentally you got out of this whole mess. Can you just briefly describe that?
Well, there was 2 farmers down there that were looking for their cattle thieves, and they came in with the police, and they found us in the cabin.
And we go to Susan Lucci.
Robin, I'm going to have to disqualify myself. I remember when the story was in the papers, and I was fascinated, and I studied the photograph of the man, Mr. Niehaus, and I recognize him.
Could you tell me which one?
Never mind, never mind. And we go to Bill Cullen.
Number 1, you were down there on company business when you were kidnapped. Is that
Yes.
correct? When you got back 3 years later, number 1, did you get paid overtime?
Overtime.
Yeah. Well, you were there. You were,
They continued paying all my salaries, and I got the raises as we went along each year.
All right. Now, number 2, could you tell me why they didn't ransom you? Was it well, just tell me why.
Actually, the Venezuelan government prohibited any type of negotiation or ransom, and the organization that was holding me had no chance to make contact outside of the country.
Number 3, you mentioned that firms can help prevent the ordeal and to weather it. How can they help you weather the ordeal, number 3?
Well, I think, you have to make a lot of decisions as a business executive, and I think you have to have a lot of control, self-control, self-restraint when you're under these kind of conditions, and 3 years is a long time to...
Number 3, were you tortured or questioned, not tortured, but were you questioned in any way? Was there anything they wanted to know from you?
Well, no, not really, and there was a lot of discussion back and forth, but not any torture. The conditions were extremely bad, but I was never...
Time is up, panel, and now it's time to vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3, whoever in your opinion is the real William Niehaus. And the ballot's all marked, panel. Polly, who'd you vote for?
I voted for number 2 because Susan whispered the answer to me. I'm lying.
And John Wade, who got your vote?
Well, Susan whispered nothing to me, but I wish she would. But I voted, it's really hard to tell on something like that. You don't know what they used to look like or what they went through and how their health is, but both 2 and 3 kind of convinced me, but I voted for number 3. He looks like he would have a strong will.
Okay, and Bill Cullen, who got your vote?
I do remember seeing a picture of the man at the time. It was, of course, a very well-known case. I do not recognize him. I know he wasn't dark and stocky. I know he looked like either 2 or 3, so I picked 3 for his answers.
Okay, now we're going to find out which of these people is, in fact, the man who was held hostage. And Susan, what better person to pick him out than you? Who do you think it is?
Number 2.
Well, wait and see. Will the real William Niehaus please stand up?
I got
Okay, let's find out who our imposters are. Number 1, could you tell us, please, sir, who you are and what you do?
My name is Ray Circle. I'm a partner in a firm of Billingsley and Circle, and we sell advertising space.
Thank you. And Number 3, you got a very respectable 2 votes. Could you tell us something about yourself, please, sir?
Well, my name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm a vice president with Domino Sugar here in New York.
You're not the Jimmy Carter, are you? The one from the Bronx, are you?
Yeah, I'm the Jimmy Carter, yes.
Okay, we have a picture of Mr. Niehaus taken shortly after his release, and if you watch the monitors, you get a chance to look at it, like us. Amazing. Mr. Niehaus, and we don't have much time to discuss this. It's an amazing story. In a very brief kind of sentence, could you tell us how this experience has changed your life? How it makes you look at life in a different kind of way, I guess?
Well, initially, Robin, I think I had a different attitude as to priorities in my personal life. I must admit, after being home a year, some of those priorities have changed again. I faced reality. I found that things have changed. The biggest adjustment, I guess, is to just reacquaint myself with my family. My sons aged from 13 to 15 to 18 very quickly during my absence. And I'm just happy to be alive and enjoying America.
Well, we're very happy to have you back with us, I must say. Okay. There were two incorrect votes and 1 disqualification for $100 each, giving you $300 to spend in any way you see fit. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and we'll see 2 of you on One-on-One in just a moment. We'll be coming back into your lives in just a few moments ourselves.
Pickles and puff.
We are back to play One-on-One panel, and here are 4 people that you have met before. You have. Now, panel, you, of course, remember Kathy and Linda, who pretended to be our Barbie doll expert, and Ray and Jimmy, who were imposters for the Venezuelan hostage. Now, you know something about these people. There's one fact about one of them that we have withheld from you until this very moment. One of these 4 people is a national parachute champion, and it's up to you to find out which one. And you will go about it by questioning the person sitting directly opposite you for 20 seconds. End of that time, you'll be asked to cast your vote there and then as to whether that person, in fact, jumps out of planes for fame and profit. And once again, we pay $100 for each incorrect vote, and 4 incorrect votes will give our team of challengers $500. And Polly, are you ready to question Kathy?
No.
Fine. Then I will.
But
Kathy,
I will.
Fine.
Kathy, what kind of a parachute do you use?
I use a square parachute.
I see. Do you pull your own ripcord, or does it automatically open when you jump?
No, I pull my own ripcord.
I see. Do you do what that thing where they stay in the air and don't pull anything for a long time?
Yes, I do.
You do.
Polly, is Kathy our parachute champion? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes for Kathy. And Bill, you ready to question Linda?
Right.
Then hit it.
Okay, Rob. Linda, what do you have to do to become champion? I mean, what constitutes the championship?
Well, there are two categories. There's accuracy and style.
And which one are you a champion?
Both.
What do you do with the ripcord after you pull it, Linda?
I let it go.
You just throw it away, huh? What's an aneroid? What's an aneroid release, Linda?
I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
Bill, is Linda our parachute champion? Yes or no?
If she is, they're going to change the category. No. I would say no.
That's a no for Linda. And Susan, are you ready to question Ray?
Okay.
And start now.
Ray, where were the championships held?
In Dayton, Ohio.
How many people were in the finalists?
Where it was 5. There's 5 actually that ended up in the final.
How many women were in the finals?
5 women and 5 men. In my category, in the men, I was the national champion in the men's division.
I see. What is your parachute made of?
Nylon.
Are you...
Susan, is Ray our parachutist? Yes or no?
Yes.
A yes for Ray. And John, are you ready to question Jimmy?
Yeah, all set.
Hit it.
Jimmy, how many jumps did you make before you went free fall rather than static line?
About 1,000.
Okay. What's the difference between a sports chute and the old Army chutes?
Well, I'm not familiar with the old Army chute.
Okay, well, give me a characteristic of a sports chute.
Well, the sports chute is a square. It's about 240 square feet.
Okay, how large is the area? Where the spot for accuracy, what's the diameter of that you're aiming for?
10
John, is Jimmy our parachute champion?
No,
yes
but
or
I think he'd make a great politician.
Okay, right. That's a no for Jimmy.
No. Right.
The decisions have been made, and now it's time to tell the truth. Will the real parachuting champion please stand up?
Kathy show, I'm so happy.
You'll have your own show pretty soon.
Kathy, where are you champion? I mean, are you champion across the United States, or
No, I'm the Canadian champion.
you're the Canadian parachuting champion?
That's right.
And what are your plans now? Are you going to have any big jumps planned for the near future?
That's for sure. I'm on the Canadian team, and we're going to the World Championships in Bulgaria.
Well, I wish you
Summer.
great success with that. And
Thank you.
marvelous. There was one incorrect vote to give you $100 to split 4 ways, but we do provide bus fare. You know, don't worry about it. Thank you for joining us on To Tell the Truth One-on-One, and Kathy, all the best. And we'll be back.
Sense may not.
Panel, unfortunately, the party's over. All good things must come to an end. Polly, you were wonderful today.
Wasn't I
Wonderful.
spectacular?
Never
Really?
happen again.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again, same time, next time on To Tell the Truth. Thank you so much.
This is Alan Coffey speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Occupational hazards may be coming your way. What's My Line with Larry Blyden is next, followed by married folks talking it up on the Newlywed Game, only on Game Show Network. To register to play our live interactive game shows, call 800-537-GAME now. It's fast, it's fun, and it's free. You only need to register once to play forever on Game Show